Journey planning and the booking process are critical steps in the guest journey. This is how travellers determine if an accommodation provider is the right fit and if they are inclusive of different needs and preferences. In this video, we'll hear firsthand from a neurodivergent traveller about their experiences planning and booking a stay, the challenges and barriers faced, and what providers can do to make this process more inclusive.
When I'm looking at a hotel and investigating if it's somewhere that I want to stay, there's a number, I guess, of steps or factors that I look into before I make that booking. First of all, I'll always look at a map based on the city that I'm in and where I want to be visiting or someone I might be visiting, and also the access for me to public transport, because I'm very rarely driving in a city or an area I'm not familiar with. So I'll look at the hotels that are on that map around those areas, and then I'll start looking at their websites, what information they might have about areas in their hotels that are quieter or rooms that are quieter than others, looking at pictures of reception for things like lighting, understanding if they're a hotel that's catering towards people that are more interested in a nightlife, big parties, wedding receptions, for example. That's noise and crowds that I'm wanting to avoid. I'll also look into the type of rooms and the type of beddings. How big is the bathroom? What style of bathroom does it have? How modern is the bathroom in particular? Do they offer different pillow options? Because they can be helpful if the ones they provide aren't necessarily comfortable for me. And then too, I'll look at other people's reviews, particularly for me around noise, for access to restaurants and other eateries, and also for safety at night. How easy is it to find your way from the bus stop or the train station at night? Is it well lit? Is there other people around? And those different components. So there is a lot of time and research before I even then really start to dig into the one specific hotel I might be considering as part of that stay. And if I'm staying in multiple cities or multiple locations on a trip, then I'm following that process for all those locations, and it can be quite time consuming. But I've found that if I just trust based off a picture or a Google overall review or the location on the map or the price, that usually it's not going to necessarily be a hotel when I get there that meets my needs, and therefore I feel that the time I invest can be helpful in making sure I get the right space for me. So I guess part of my process of investigating is hotels is often I will send the reception or concierge before I book some questions that haven't been identified for me or answered through the website or other people's reviews or photos or maps. And I'll ask often some specific questions, particularly around opening hours for restaurants or options for tour bookings and components like that. And often it can be quite good when the reception comes back with a clear understanding of what their check-in process is and actually have mapped it for me step by step. Or they've come back and identified what type of music they play in reception, what time of day is the busiest for check-ins, and given me all the information I've needed, because that often makes me feel more comfortable again that the hotel I'm dealing with and their staff have some sort of understanding or ideal, I guess, maybe of customer service to give the answers that I'm looking for. Some hotels often will come back and give a very short answer, or maybe sometimes they don't quite understand what I'm asking for. But often when it comes to questions around noise or level of busyness, I don't necessarily think there's that understanding behind it of why I'm necessarily asking, and it can be misinterpreted too. I think the process hotels or accommodation providers could do to reduce the amount of research I would need to do before booking an accommodation is to have on their website a clear either frequently asked questions that they update regularly or clear information on some of the components that I'm looking for. So I have noticed that some hotels are quite good at putting, when they've got construction going on, from both a noise and a facilities, so what facilities might be impacted during that period. And even if it's not for months away, or it's happened in the past and they haven't yet taken down, I think that can be helpful because we're all booking for different periods when we go to book. That having that clear, up-to-date, frequently asked questions would be another place that I can go and check quite quickly and easily without then having to interact with reception and having them to have to answer probably, the 20th email that day that they've gotten with similar or other questions as well. The providers don't have to be everything to everyone. There's some hotels and accommodation that are known for weddings and functions and parties and bucks nights and hen nights, and that's great because there's people that need those services. They just need to be clear on I guess that's what they're providing, so that people who don't necessarily want to be in those environments know. And to the opposite side as well, that a quiet hotel or a quiet space isn't necessarily going to be for everyone, but I think there's an underestimated market that would want some of these other areas and other facilities to be provided or considered for, and some of these providers as well.
For further support and resources to make journey planning and the booking process more inclusive, check out the Accommodate Us Toolkit.